some people who were a little bit on the outside. They talked for about 45 minutes, and they totally romanticized gardening, which is, you know, you can romanticize it, but has anybody in here gardened at all? It's a lot of work. you do have to weed, and what you know, you have.
It's too difficult to maintain a garden.
You have to maintain a garden. You don't get those beautiful flowers and corn this high with just, yeah. So if you're going to take that on with children, you need to be able to explain that to them, that it's really hot outside, but we still need to go water the garden, right? It's, you know, so these are the things, and so when you pick projects, you either need to have some commitment, you need to have commitment yourself, or the willingness to really learn about it. And so when I said 2 classrooms are doing it, she really is a master gardener. The person who's meeting, oh, I'm to announce this?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought you... Fahim? Fahim, the EY curriculum coordinator? You're in... Help me. You. Is it you? I can't read it. I can't read. We don't think she's in here, right? Is that what we're saying? We don't think she's in here right now. No problem. No. Okay. So that when I said 2 teachers was doing it, 1 teacher, this one is the mentor. She's the master gardener, I would say. She wouldn't call herself that. The one who's doing it with her wants to learn. And she's okay at it, but she wants to learn. So and her children are interested. They go out to the playground a lot, so at the same time. So that's how that might work. You can team up with somebody. Again, they're just doing more extensions. In Reggio Emilia, we do lots and lots of art, representational, and this is one idea. So here's the squash. This is a 3-year-old, 4-year-old doing a painting. Also, there's going to be documentation, a garden data sheet. So they're going to keep track over the course of time, and so they're going to have the data sheets there and available. What I didn't pull was a whole documentation of some of the quotes and things. When I copied that onto here, it didn't copy well, so I just went ahead and deleted that slide. Whoops. So that was the garden project. Somehow one slide disappeared that talked about the master gardener saying, I didn't know young children could learn so much. So this is the master. So we had community gardeners coming in, working with the children from the beginning to the end. And they're mostly retired individuals who have the time to come in during the day. And one of them said, we had no idea that 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds thought so much and could do so much. They had no idea, even if they would be, I guess, grandparent age, that children were so capable. So that can be exciting too. This one is a different example of just a little bit of an extension. We have different types of stuffed animals representing ducks that are coming in from a real picture here. So we have pictures of ducks in nature and stuffed animals, and it's coming, the question that's posed on the board there is, children, children, what have you seen, trying to tie them back in. So this would be like a mini project that might be going on, and it ties into a book we have called Brown Bear, Brown Bear. Do you read that book? Okay, I brought a copy and left it in my room. It's called Brown Bear, what do you see? The brown bear sees a red bird, so you turn the page. It's learning your colors, identifying animals. It's a very popular book, so you see even here, so it's Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck, yellow duck, you know, so it goes through, and then in the end it says, teacher, teacher, what do you see? And then she says, I see a classroom of children looking at me. So it's a good color book, a good animal book. It's a good beginning reading book. Very perfect, very repetitive. That is one of the first books that children learn to read. They've kind of memorized it, and that's okay, right? So they've memorized. Yes. So it's exciting. So very empowering. So what would be an example of, do you have those, what book do they like here that's like that?
Like Chicken Licken.
Chicken Licken?
The little yellow chicken.
Three billboards left, Hannah. It's
What?
repetition of there.
Elf and the Shoemaker, that's one. So, common. I'll send you that book, okay? Brown Bear, Brown Bear. Here's one too. We have a lot of snow during the cold winter months, and we have this snowman. So we see a snowman, a poster one on the door, and then we see the children's representation of that. And chances are this is becoming part of a bigger project. Kids in our area love to sled ride, they play out in the snow, they do all of these things. So this is the beginning of an extension for them. Let's see. Here's one done with toddlers, and I know you have some interest in the really young years. This is what I would consider a project base for the toddler years, and the children in this room are 18 months up to about 2.5, 3 before they move to the preschool room. And you see here they've been making. We do a lot with clay. And again, it's the Reggio influence for sure. You see this circle starting, and what this is called is Toddler Adventures at Snake Mountain. And this is what they're calling Snake Mountain. Okay, we also have snakes in the area. It's black snakes and garden snakes. Not at the school, okay, just in the area. Okay. So when you step back, this is outside the room. This is, again, some documentation of work that they've done after they've worked on the project of Snake Mountain. So we have here a light board with some very nice, finger paintings of things that tie into their trip. Snake Mountain is a place that they name. The children go around in the neighborhood, and when they see formations, they'll give them their own name, so they'll call it this. So this you're going to see in the next slide. This is their rendition of it. This is a place that they go on for walks, and it's a circular place with the levels going up on rocks, and they call this Snake Mountain. So this is at least a good mile from the center, but as they go out and explore, and then they come back and they revisit that and they talk about that, they make it in the classroom, and then on one of their next journeys out, they visit Snake Mountain and they talk about that. And you can see they're pretty young children in that classroom. Many still in diapers. And that I just wanted to give that acknowledgement to the lab school. Excuse me. Okay, just before we go, I know I really do want to hear from you. That gave you maybe a little sample of what some projects might look like. I think you're going to have some varying experiences of what projects are. But how about if we start then? I'll put these questions at each table, and you can gather around, and we'll take some time and discuss those. If you find, because these are pretty big discussion groups, that the group is too big, if you would just divide yourself in half and still try to answer the question, okay? So who would like, what do we mean by project-based learning in early childhood classrooms? This table, put their hand up.
And
he's trying to make me behave. I have to wear the microphone so I can't come out into the crowd, even though I think you could hear me. I think he's taping, so that's important for being able to hear later. Okay, lots of good questions as I went around. I don't have all of the answers together. We'll find those. I hope that I do want to start by saying I hope that I didn't confuse you by giving the idea of taking things kind of incrementally, that it's hard to go from teacher-directed worksheet to Reggio Emilia, in a week. And so I had said, sometimes even in the States, we had started out for many years doing kind of theme-based, and it seemed to be a little bit easier going into projects. But a theme is not a project, and a theme is a much shorter increment, and is frequently chosen, it's something that children are interested in, but it will probably be chosen more by the adults. So we're kind of moving away from that into working more collaboratively with children. And there's more this level of trust that the children are going to ask interesting questions, you're going to follow up on that. So when you start a project, you're not exactly sure where you're going to end, okay? And usually in a theme, you pick, okay, we're going to do Orange Week, and everything is orange for the week, or, and so you look at oranges, you look at, I don't know, it's more, just much more teacher directed. There's lots of books. I would say, to be honest, I think themes are better than worksheets, okay? But I do think that project-based and emergent has much more potential for rich language, engagement with children, really good questions. That we talked yesterday about when kids are really, a lot of children are really engaged in a lot of projects. That's going to give the two of us, the teacher and one child, the opportunity for in-depth, rich discussion about something this child really wants to know about. I don't have to worry over here that everybody's bored or waiting or doing this, because they're working too. So I can have this conversation and really help this child understand, or at least just have a good conversation. That's a lot of what is missing from classrooms. So you'll see, even in the U.S., kids have relationships sometimes with the people who work in the cafeteria, the people who drive the buses, because they're the ones actually having conversations with them about something that they're interested in, instead of hurry up and get here and do this and take. So I'm trying to bring those, with you all, the conversations back into classrooms. It can't always happen as a large group. So when we're busy doing projects, that's the time you can go with a lot of children individually for those conversations. So the first question is, what do we mean by project-based learning in early childhood classrooms? I answered part of that in comparison to a theme. Which group had that? Here? Okay. Could you report out? Do you want me to give him the microphone or have him come up here so you can hear? I don't know.
No, I think I'm loud enough.
You're okay. He says no.
Okay, basically, when we are talking about project-based learning in early childhood, that's just like to quote Richard Gere says, something he mentioned this morning. Early childhood would be that particular phase where 80% of the students' learning takes place, and that's a very important area as such. So when we talk about project-based learning, then we are talking about learning by doing, playing, hands-on experience. To get more in-depth into the definition, where a fun activity may be interactive, where students are assigned sequential tasks to achieve certain results or learning outcomes. The results or learning outcomes are not disclosed to the students, but are achieved by the series of experiences that students gain throughout the doing process and analyzing the end results.
Wow, okay. That group worked hard. There are lots of good elements. I hope that you could hear him. The one thing that comes up is how engaging and fun it is. I also want to make sure that you know that even for children, project-based learning can be very hard. I mean, not that they're sitting there, they don't want to do it. It's just hard that it's got them. It's hooked them. They're intellectually challenged. It's like, so they will stay all morning working on a project, trying to figure out what is it or how does it work. So that wonder. So it is fun. It is engaging. It is very rewarding. But there are parts where you will see kids really just struggling, trying to figure it out. Not in a bad way, but in a way that they're really trying to understand. And that's when to me, that's when I know I've got them. They're able to pay attention and stay with it and keep trying to figure it out because they really want to know how that works.